Welcome to Personal Development Mastery Podcast, and this is another Snippets of Wisdom episode where I select my favorite, most insightful moments from previous episodes. Today's snippet comes from my conversation with Michael Thornhill, who is a traditionally trained plant spirit healer. The snippet I chose from that conversation is about Michael describing a profound experience he had during his first Ayahuasca ceremony that gave him an inner knowing that prompted major changes. I hope it is as insightful for you as it was for me.
And then I had the same but much more powerful experience within the ayahuasca ceremony that was something to describe which is beyond words, which is a knowing. It's not a knowing with the brain. It's not a knowing with the mind. It's a knowing with the entire being that is unwavering, that is impossible to be not true because every cell in the being recognizes it as the truth. And that I'd never had that experience before. I also in that moment recognized and realized that due to the illness of my mother as partial of that and to what I didn't recognize as trauma, I didn't uncover that till later on, but for whatever reason, this lack, this hole, this void of unconditional love, that I wasn't aware of what unconditional love was. I could see that the love experience in my life was very much conditional. And I went back to the experience of being born in this lifetime and experiencing the unconditional love of my family as I was kind of born and then led on my mother's chest. And the family for that moment felt unconditional love and happiness. And then I also saw that very quickly as kind of life takes hold and having a family and all of the trauma that arises through being human quite quickly tainted that. And that wasn't accessible to me. And it definitely wasn't accessible in my conscious memory. So I could see that the synthetic addictions that I was chasing was I was actually looking for unconditional love, and simultaneously having the recognition that I am unconditional love and that unconditional love is available to me, that it's never left. So there in that moment, I realized that what I was looking for was already here. So that, and that's not someone telling me that. That's not a therapist saying, well, you know, you're addicted to this because of this, this, and this. Go away and think about that. This was just an absolutely deep knowing experience. You know, and I've worked with therapists before and after ayahuasca, and that's nothing against therapy. It's a very, very powerful practice. But this is just a experience that was taken straight to the core of that. And I didn't have any spiritual inclination, didn't have any recognition of what this, and it was this undeniable experience that once you see that, once you know that, you can't go back. And then simultaneously in the next part, I had an experience where I found myself going out into the cosmos and having communication contact with these different energetic beings that were showing me, again, experientially showing me through feeling somatically, very deep, like awakening of the cells of the body. Every time that you drink, every time that you smoke, every time that you go and follow through these addictions, you are going away from your life path. This is not your life path. You're distracting away from your life path. And then I could see that the institutions that I'd grown up in and that had believed, and working in the rat race, working in very capitalistic companies, and working in all these different things, I could see that was also a lie, and that wasn't part of my truth, because it could be someone else's truth. That's not to say that it's right or wrong, but I could see for me that this was just illusion on top of illusion, on top of lie, on top of what might call mind control to try and get you to continue to churn that wheel of the capitalistic wheel in that way. And I could see this again experientially. And bear in mind, I just started my own company, and we were successful. We were making a lot of money, and it was a good company. It wasn't necessarily bad. We were doing good things. We were doing good work. And then in that moment, I could see that wasn't what I was here to do. And I kind of came back down to earth, purged, and then again I knew I can't go back. I can't go back. I can't unknow what's just awakened. So that was when I decided that I should go to India, because I need some time to integrate this. And, through deep processes and continued and, not necessarily easy decisions, continue to follow that awakening, that seed of awakening. And it wasn't until, many years later that I could really see what occurred in that ayahuasca ceremony was actually really, really aligned in terms of what my life would be, because I never thought that I'd be here owning a retreat center, running a retreat center, being married to my wife, and dedicating our life to helping others. That was not anything within my field of awareness. So when that arose to me, it was confusing. But there was something within inside me that I would say continued to fuel that fire. There was a curiosity, there was that deep knowing, there was something that was so true about that experience that even though that there were still many thoughts, limiting beliefs, doubts, and all those things, they were not enough to douse the fire of awakening. They were not enough to put that out. But there was a choice. At any point in that moment in time, I could have chose to ignore that, but that was not what I chose.
Thank you for tuning in. You can listen to the full conversation in episode 266. The link is in the show notes. If you've enjoyed this episode, can you find one person that you think it would add value to and share it with them? I would really appreciate you. It helps grow the show, and it also helps you add value to people you care about. Thank you so much. Until next time, stand out, don't fit in,